Assalamualaikum, You Dr Hanita. I am Nur Nabila Bt Azman. My metric number is 051516. First of all, I will be explaining about the biography of the poet. Maya Angelou, or her real name Margarita Annie Angelou. She was born on April 4, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri, United States. She then died on May 28, 2014 in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. She was an American poet, also a memoirist, an actress. She explored so many themes while writing her works, such as economic, racial, and sexual oppression. Maya Angelou is also known as a feminist poet. For Maya Angelou's education during World War II, she won the scholarship to study dance and acting at the California Labor School. Angelou has published several collections of poetry, but her famous was 1971's collection, Just Give Me a Cool Drink of Water Before I Die, which was nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, and many more. And these are all her famous poems. You can take a look of all her famous poems.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fatin Maisarah binti Sadruddin with metric number 050012. Today I will be presenting on one of Maya Angelou's poem called Alone. So basically, Alone is published in 1975 in a book called Oh Pray My Wings Are Gonna Feed Me Well. So this poem is actually telling to the readers about the reflection of the speakers in her feeling of loneliness. Other than that, it also tells that people that are wealthy but do not feel any happiness, which means by they have lots of money but they doesn't feel any happiness in their heart. And then third, their persona or the speaker is finding something for her empty soul, which means and other than that, it also says that in this world nothing can be done alone and must have the sense of togetherness.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hi to Dr. Han. My name is Nur Izzah Atirah binti Ilias, number metric 051696. And now I'm going to continue on explaining the summary of Touched by an Angel. This poem is a clear imagery depiction on how love could change a person, as well as having to love and being loved by someone is a roller coaster ride of itself. This is a freestyle kind of poem that elaborates on the feelings of love, and mainly it is about the power of love that could transform and empower people if they let themselves to be open for the possibilities of love. Although love is a tricky concept, Angelou managed to define love in her very own style.
I am responsible to do research about Maya Angelou's poem titled Man. Poem Man by Maya Angelou is actually an intriguing poem that tells us about the little girl and her first experience of her sexual intercourse with a man. She describes her first experience doing that at a young age. At first, she watched the men doing sexual activity with other women, and it becomes her routine watching it. So one day, the man noticed her. Then the men take the opportunity to rape her and leave her offhand after they have fulfilled their lust and desire.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Nuha Syathirah binti Sauffi, metric number 049877, and I will be presenting about a poem titled The Lesson by Maya Angelou. For the summary, the lesson by Maya Angelou stressed on death at first, but nearing the end of the poem, Angelou suggests that despite the sorrow of losing someone we cherish, the pleasure that we get from being alive does overcome the sadness of losing someone. The poem is concluded as a lesson to live life, even though we might encounter a lot of difficulties and obstacles.
Now we will move on to the next part, which is criticism on the review that have been done by other people on Maya Angelou's works. I will critique on what have grade 7 review the poem. He analysed the poem in the context of the persona's feeling, which is lonely and seeking something that have been missing from her soul. The only thing I want to critique is he did not clearly state what is the missing things, because Maya Angelou stated the thing in metaphorical way in the poem. The two things that he had the same opinion with me are reviewing the word millionaires in the poem as a person who have lots of money but do not feel happy, and it ended his review with a perfect conclusion for the readers to understand is by saying to overcome the loneliness in life, and so people need to work in togetherness.
Next, I'm going to continue on the review criticisms of Maya Angelou's work, especially on the poem Touched by an Angel. From my observation, this poem has garnered a lot of attention and love from the others because of the angelic tone and the topic of the poem, which focuses on the abstract word, which is love. The word love has been mentioned several times in the poem. I have chose two analyses, which are from Friska Ayudia and also Alexa Fox. Friska Ayudia stated in her analysis that the angel in the title of this poem is a girl that makes a man fall in love with her. It is quite interesting to see that she pointed this out while most of the reviews on this poem just focuses on the content. I understand her perspective on this poem, but my opinion begs to differ on this matter. In my opinion, the angel may represent God or Cupid that held the power that can make people fall in love. Despite the fact that our opinion is different, I appreciate her argument on the symbol of angel for this poem, as it opens up a new possibility for another view. Lastly, Alexa Fox explained that she found the subject of this poem, which is love, as a sacred thing that brings pleasure and pain but pushes people to be beyond what they can be. She also gave emphasis on the interesting structure of each stanza, where it increases by stanza from 6 to 7 and lastly 8. It is indeed a unique feature of this poem that I have missed earlier when I read it. I am agreeing with her as the increases of lines in each stanza match the progress of love, from the absence of love until how love empowers people when it is embraced.
So next, I have read one review from Olivia Hill. Based on the review criticism done by Olivia Hill, she interpreted that poem meant was divided into 3 stages. The first one told about an experienced 15-year-old girl. Second stage, on the other hand, talked about the process of losing her virginity. The last stage talked about her change in perception of male form. When I read Hill's review, I can see and understand the point that she tried to prove. I have nothing to against Hill's opinion, and it is because her review is the reason that makes me even understand the poem. She explained one by one about the chronology that happened to the little girl. The fact that she reviewed the poem with the stages makes me even makes me feel want to read her review. I also agree with her when she said that in the review that this poem presents male domination. As you can see in this poem, women are treated badly and they only use women to fulfill their nasty laws.
Next, I will be talking about the review of criticism on the lesson. I have chosen two reviews, which is from Katerina Sidoruk and Elisa Kaufman. Firstly, Katerina Sidoruk, in her review, interpret line 11, "They do my eyes," as maturity and wisdom of an old lady. Meanwhile, I have interpreted line 11, "They do my eyes," as her eyes have dulled over the year. To some, Katerina Sidoruk's interpretation does differ from mine, and each individual have their own interpretation of the poem. Secondly, I do agree on the review written by Elisa Kaufman, as she reviewed the whole poem is to encourage readers to embrace life in order to get the joy out of living.
Now, I'm going to continue on the similarities of the four poems. These poems connect all of us to the topic of life, where one will experience the struggle to fight the lonesomeness and realizing that people need to be together. Love can be the connection between humans that brings joyousness, but we will eventually face the hardship of living. Such hardships can be seen in the conflict between humans, such as the domination of man towards women and also the death of our loved ones. So, as I have explained earlier, all of these four poems falls under the same theme, which is life. It is what a person will go through or experience in her journey of life.
Okay, now we will see on how Maya Angelou interpret her poems with a different tones. So at first, we'll see how Alun came out with a tune called somber in expressing the message or the meaning to the readers. Because what I found in this poem is when Maya interpreting the meaning of speaker feel lonely in her soul, it came out with a tone of somber in line 3 of the poem, says that how to find my soul a home. So it actually came out with a tone of somber in order to make it to make the readers feel what is actually she wants to convey. Next, she says and she interprets the meaning of people are suffering in their life in line 30 of the poem called "The Race of Man is Suffering."
Now, we're going to the tones of the poem Touched by an Angel. What I have found is the tone is an angelic one, as love is perceived as a sacred subject for human beings, as shown in line 4, until love lifts its high holy temple. So, the author has described love as a sacred subject and a holy thing in our life.
Now I'll be talking about the tone for this poem titled Meant. The poem is depressed in tone because the little girl is the passive character that cannot do anything like to defend herself. The fact that defenseless is used to describe the inferiority of women shows that she lacks control of the situation. We could see in this poem that men were dominating the power over women. They were the active characters that do whatever they want towards the women, such as fulfill their lust and desire. But after they got what they want, they would just abandon women just like nothing had ever happened. We can see the evidence in lines 34, stanza 3. The sways of curtains meant walk. Based on the personal experience about her sexual intercourse and how she was treated by them, show that the situation was very depressed. That is why the tone for this poem is depressed.
Next, Angelou wrote the lesson using melancholic tone in expressing the persona's longing towards people who she cherished that has passed away before her to make the audience relate more with the feeling of intense longing. The lines such as "I keep on dying again, memory of old tones" do express this melancholic tone,